Hello. Today is going to be a relatively different video. Today is going to be a very, oh god, that's loud. Hold on. A very opinion-based video. And to kind of go through this, we're just going to go through my captures of various games, and I'm just going to state my opinion. These are going to be from various games, various things I did, various things I thought were kind of cool, or just various glitches that happened. But actually, I'm going to turn it so it's all For Honor just to stay relevant. There. Now then. Along with the title of the video, it's kind of going to go like this. With For Honor's state of balance, I think that it should balance more for the casuals. Because as is, For Honor is balancing for its competitive scene, which requires you to understand the game a lot in order to use each character to its fullest potential. Now then, for things like that to happen, you need to have played the game a lot. For people just coming in, it's suddenly a struggle fest because suddenly each character in the world is broken, or there's other characters that are just completely underpowered and have no real ability to do anything. Case in point is kind of like how this matchup right here, like with the Nusha Shigoki, how just dodge heavies will just miss completely because the lean back headbutt seems to have iframes, or in this case, kind of like Nobushi, how a lot of her moves have a lot of movement, so she's kind of underpowered and requires you to understand the character to use a lot. That's not fun for new players. New players will get shafted by this and generally probably drop the game unless they were like really determined or have a group of friends that got them into it. My roommate, who actually you might have seen me play from time to time before, Lord Chungus, or Chungus Among Us as I like, or Chingus Odingus, both of which are kind of names I like to use just to fuck around with him. He understands as well because I got him into For Honor and several games would go by before he has a tendency to yell about things being broken or not operating the way they should, and I get it. Mind you, that rep that you see in the top left corner, that is not my current rep. I'm now 418, but I treat this game very casually, and people who strive for it to be a strictly competitive game, even though it is a semi-fighter, just disagree with me at all points. In which case, I believe, kind of moving back to my point, is that this should be balanced for casuals. The character should be able to be used to its full potential at a base level. And at that base level is where things should be taken into account for. You shouldn't have to like practice a character for however long it takes in like training grounds or the training game mode to use the character at its fullest potential. Because again, I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but that drives away new players. New players don't want to practice a character unless they're like hyper competitive for a game. But again, when they just start out, they're probably not too competitive about it. They're still trying to figure stuff out. They're still trying to learn. They're still trying to even understand what the hell's happening. And suddenly, actually, convenient enough, something like this, Last Laugh, is something that newer players will not understand right away because they probably haven't played too many characters that have that feat. You know, see, I'm getting demolished here. I'm technically dead already. But then I get revenge, and then I should be dead. But then, now, let's see here. Yep, I die right there, and then boom, team wipe. They're going to wonder what the hell happened. They're going to scream that it's unfair. And yeah, honestly, it is a bit unfair. because it's unfair because I knew what I was doing. They might not have had a clue what they were doing. Yes, they were all at various healths. Yes, for those of you that do understand, Last Laugh is a tier 4 feat. It's going to do stuff like that. But for somebody who doesn't understand, that kind of puts them like, wow, why can't I just do that? I'm not saying you shouldn't have to learn to be able to play the game properly, but I'm saying that there shouldn't be such a instant curve on either you learn or you're going to fail. Because I've come across a bunch of people that have failed to learn and I have punished them for it, but as I continually punish them for doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, some of the times I felt like, wow, this person is stupid, but a lot of the time I felt bad. Because either this person was not taught that their strategy will not work all of the time, in which case no one sound strategy will work all of the time, or they're just going with something that has worked for them in the past, which that's any of us, but it's at such a basic value that you just need to think a little bit and it's basically finished. Like, although for me, thinking a little bit is okay, parry the light and then start counterattacking. Or, deflect the attack and trade damage with them, make them back up a bit. But I have a very different mindset because I've been playing since beta. I'm rep 418 or 90, 400 and something, nearly 420. Yeah, stoners. But for me to walk up and try and teach a new player what my perspective is, that just doesn't happen. You can't just take somebody who's extremely renowned at the game and just say, oh yeah, just teach them, just teach this new person. Yeah, it could work, but at the same time though, it's probably not going to work like that because this new person has no idea what's going on. They don't understand what I'm trying to tell them, and suddenly they might think that, oh, that character is overpowered. They go to use it and nothing's working. They're like, why am I not doing this? Half the fault has to do with that the training grounds, or the warrior trials or whatever, do not teach the person what they need to know. And that's partially on Ubisoft's fault, but the rest of it is that the rest of the fault is on Ubisoft for making the game have such a ridiculously high learning curve for some characters. Meanwhile, others require you to just, play the game extremely basically. Kind of like what I just did there with that Hitakiri. I could have done something else, but instead I just dodge attacked a couple times in a row and abused the fact that Zanhu has some ridiculous sweeping ranges. And that's a very basic mindset, because at the time I was still very new to Zanhu. So I didn't know what I was doing. But I'm not saying that the character should be, balanced for casuals just because I didn't know what I was doing. But if a majority of players don't know what they're doing, then we should balance for the majority instead of trying to balance for the people that have grinded this game since day one. Now, I've seen some, rep 600, 700, 800, yada yada, play the game endlessly. We're kind of going to have to shift captures here. They've played the game endlessly. They have much better strategies for things. They have a very good idea of what they're doing. Because they've played. They've practiced. They've done everything that they can to perfect a sort of style that helps them win a lot of the time, if not all the time. Whereas for me, I just like to play the game for the sake of playing the game. I'm not going to come up with this surefire strategy to try and, just win the game each and every time. Winning is the end goal of every match, but it shouldn't be like fun is like the primary reason you play the games. Like, I play For Honor to have fun. I play just like, winning is fun, yes, but, you know, if I encounter a match and I think, oh, well, even though we lost, I still had fun, then I'm not going to complain about it. Because, you know, at least I had fun with it. The game should be balanced for fun instead of the competitive aspect. Because if the game is strictly competitive, that leaves no real area for a friend of mine. You might have seen me play. You actually saw him in a couple other clips here. Silver Aether. He's a extremely casual player. Like, he would like to win, but he doesn't want to have to, like, train his head off to, like, know every single outcome or every single possible chance to just win. He wants to just be able to play the game in his own little fun way, have fun, and if he wins, oh well, but if he wins, yeah, that's nice, but if he doesn't win, then he doesn't want to have to scream his head off about, well, why the hell doesn't this work like this? Mind you, he has a almost like bass-ackwards way of viewing it. He thinks it should be like kind of in the old For Honor days where like someone like Shigoki should be able to like two-shot somebody because he has a big stick that can have really slow attacks. Or like someone like Peacekeeper should be attacking at like the speed of light, or Orochi, yada yada yada. But the point is, he has a perspective of fun, and the game does not meet his standard of fun. A lot of low reps that I have met, like, I kind of, like, offset their aspect of what is fun, because, you know, suddenly this really big guy is helping them win, and we're going up against other low reps, and that is what's more fun for me, is helping the low reps understand that there is fun in the game without having to win. You know, they're still impressed by anti-ganks, like I was back when I was, like, barely rep 100. I was watching Spliced anti-gank his ass off with Lawbringer. I was watching fucking Faram just early in the time that I've seen him, before the CCU came out. I was watching Faram be this absolute beast, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I wanted to be like that. But I didn't turn it into practice. I just turned it into, okay, let's try it. I know I'm kind of running off tangent here, but the point is, the casuals do occasionally enjoy seeing the competitive people just stomp others. But most of the time, we want a very basic-minded game that could be a fighter that allows us to just play the game without having to worry about somebody who's played since beta and just sweated their asses off to come in and ruin the experience for us. Sorry about that, I had to take a drink. Fun to new players is enjoying the game without fearing ridicule of somebody who's sweated their asses off and discovered every single possible exploit and mechanic. Fun to the casuals is being able to have their Mimi fun without somebody who's my rep or higher coming in and then shitting on them for not playing the objective or for not, you know, enjoying themselves. Because a competitive person's fun versus a casual person's fun are two very, very different things. And I would just like that to be understood, that we should focus on more fun for the casuals, because if we try and push for everything to be competitive, this game is going to lose its casual aspect extremely quickly. And if there's no casuals, then what room does that have for the last of the competitive aspect of players who are divided as it is? Because a lot of competitive people I've seen are extremely divided. Like, they can't take, you know, they can't argue about something without it meeting some kind of debate, because no matter what game you play, there's always going to be some form of casual player. There's always going to be someone that has a different opinion than you, and that's a given, yes, but it shouldn't be shunned for the person who is casual to just want to enjoy the game in their casual manner. They don't want to have to try hard. They don't want to have to do everything in this extremely perfect way because they don't understand the game yet. So I know I've kind of gone off on this, that, and the other tangent, or said some things that don't quite always make sense, but I feel like we should listen to the casuals more instead of just attending to our competitive scene. And we should try and appreciate what the casuals have to say instead of just shunning them off like they're just some low player, they don't know what they're talking about. Because yeah, they obviously don't know what they're talking about because they haven't played the game since launch like me. But I listen to them, and some of them actually make really good points. And I think it would be best for us to listen to those points. So if you've got a friend who's, let's say, half your rep, or someone who doesn't play the game casually, or got turned away from the game because it's not what they thought it was, ask them what they think would be something that would bring them back into the game. Understand their perspective of the game, and don't just shun it off. Just try and work with them on it, because you never know. Ubisoft might come back and turn the game extremely casual, and honestly, as somebody who's played since beta, that would be pretty fun. I know I've kind of taken up your time here and posted this semi-rant but heavily opinionative video, but that was what I was trying to go for today. So, if you would like to add me on Xbox, there's my gamer tag, that's my picture. Try not to reference me by actual name, because I get kind of creeped out by people online using my actual name, even people I know, unless I've known you for years. So, but yeah, in conclusion, For Honor, bring the game to your casuals instead of catering to the people who would only like to play competitively. Because in terms of competitive, we've got 8 heroes that are used over and over and over again, and most times you can't go a match without seeing them because they want to be competitive among people who want to be casual. Yes, it's a fighter. Yes, all fighters are basically competitive. But we can have casual fun while still losing. So, that's all. That's my video. That's my opinion. If you agree with it, let me know. If you disagree with it, or have some sort of point that you would like to make that you think would add on to it or take away from it, feel free to comment. I know that I'm not that big of a channel, but I would like to hear your feedback on what you think would make the game better. So this has been IA Gamer. I appreciate any time you've taken to listen to this and listen to me complain about how the game is too competitive.